Hey, it's Pete with GCI Turf in Greensboro, North Carolina. So when do you know it's time to stop mowing the grass during the summer? When you go in protection mode against the heat and drought stress. Well, it's a couple of signs you need to look for. First sign is when it stops raining. When the temperatures get really hot and it's dry because of the lack of the rain, that's your first sign. Second sign is going to be some areas in the yard are going to get a bluish tint to it, or bluish haze. If you stand back at a distance and look at it, it's going to kind of have a blue tint to it, a gray sort of. The third way that you notice that your yard's getting too dry is you need to examine the grass. And what I mean by that is, let me show you what the turf looks like up close. So here's an individual turf grass plant, tall fescue. Here is your leaf blade, or the grass blade. This is a collar, and you can see a little new grass kind of coming out of that new blade. Here's your stem. This is the crown of the plant right here. Here's your roots. Well, when you see the grass blade itself start to curl up, if you can see this one right here, so I can get it. You can see this here, how this grass blade is curled up. This grass blade is dehydrated. It needs water. So what happens is, your plant, when it's not raining, your plant's going to go into a natural defense mode. And what's going to happen is it's going to start at the tip. Now this part of the plant, the grass blade, actually stores water and nutrients and sends it down to the root system, and to keep the root and the crown alive of the plant. So what happens is, during this process, as it's getting dry, the leaf blade is going to curl up. And what's going to happen is the leaf blade is going to begin to turn brown at the tips, like this right here. And you can see half of this leaf blade is brown and half of it's green. Well, what's happening here is the roots are sending an email to the grass blade saying, hey, I need some water because I'm dry and I'm thirsty. So what happens is the grass blade gets depleted of everything that's in it, because it's sending it down the stem and down to the crown of the plant and into the root system to protect this plant. This is the life of the plant right here, the crown and the roots, this section here. This is the pretty part that you see, that you cut and mow and looks real good, but its job is to look pretty, but its job is to also protect this part of the plant. So it's going to start deteriorating because it's sending the nutrients in this blade down to the crown and to the roots. Well, eventually the entire blade is deteriorated. See how all these blades come out of my yard, and you can see how this one's turned completely brown. Well, what happened is it has depleted all its resources in that leaf blade because it's trying to protect the root system in the crown. So what can you do to help your grass protect itself? One, stay off of it during the summertime. If you're irrigated and you're watering and your grass is growing and it's healthy and thick and it's thriving, then that's a different story. You can mow. But if your yard's like mine and it's not irrigated, stay off of it at the first sign of heat stress. Only mow when it's absolutely necessary to mow. You have to almost treat your summertime yard kind of like you do a wintertime yard. You're not going to be out there mowing and cutting in the wintertime because it's not growing. It's just not the time for it to grow. So treat your summer yard just like you do your winter yard, and your yard will hang in there through the summer far, far better. The other thing is, we're going to pretend your grass blade as a gas tank. You want that gas tank to be as full as it possibly can. So therefore, cut your grass as tall as you possibly can cut it. I mow my yard at 5 inches during the summertime, a true 5 inches. Matter of fact, I haven't mowed my yard in weeks. It's been about 6 weeks since I cut it, just because it's been so hot and dry. And it gets incredibly tall and shaggy and bushy. And you can see this here. My finished cut is 4 inches today, because I'm actually in the process of cutting it down for aerating and seeding. I'll get it down to about 3.5 before I aerate and seed. But you can see the grass behind it. I haven't cut it yet, and you see how tall it is. I mean, some of these blades are 8 or 9 inches long. Now, of course, you've got to have a mower that will be able to handle that. And of course, I use a commercial style mower that I keep here at the house, and I've got the deck all the way up, which makes it 4 inches. And then I actually had some custom spacers made to put in here, so I can get it up to 5 inches. So everybody's going to be different on this. If your mower can't handle letting the grass get up that tall, then you might have to cut it a little more often. But if your mower can handle it, stay off the grass in the summertime, let it rest, keep the stress off of it. It's already stressed out enough because it's of lack of water. So do everything you can to help your grass survive the summer. I hope this was helpful, and I'm gonna do a video on what I did when I started my yard 4 or 5 years ago, and it really gives me a huge leg up on most. This is a non-irrigated yard. It's almost the end of August, and it's looking pretty darn good right now. It's tall fescue, but what I did when I started my yard, as far as some compost and things like that I used, has made a huge difference. So I'll do a video on that later. Check you later.